Hi everyone, welcome. I am Kim Beegler, the owner of Ewethful Fiber Farm and Mill, and I'm sitting here in my house in my new favorite spot because, oh my gosh, the light. So welcome. If you are new, I'm going to talk a lot about wool, yarn, hand spinning, knitting, all of those wonderful things. And if you're coming back, welcome. Look at what I'm wearing, but psych. It's not done, you all. For those of you listening, I have on my Calliope sweater, and I wanted to show it because I needed to try it on, and then I thought, hey, let me start the vlog and then I'll change and then I'll finish the vlog. Better than posting a picture, right? So let me show you all. I wanted to see where my sleeves were at. Well, let's see if I can do this. Here are my sleeves, which I was just going to do 3/4 length sleeves. I'm still feeling it. I'm still feeling the 3/4. This will block out a little bit. And I think I'm going to go about another, again, this will go down about another 1 to 2 inches on my sleeves. Darn it. But it is really lovely. Now, while I was trying it on, I did notice yet another spot where because I'm holding two together, I'm holding Sincere Sheep's Cormo fingering weight yarn with Utopia's mohair silk yarn. And when you're holding the two yarns together, sometimes you will knit and grab one and not the other. And if it's the wool, I don't mind. But if I just grab the mohair and then I see there's a knit stitch which just has this little lace weight mohair, I don't love that, because that, I feel like, while strong, I don't know that I want my sweater depending on that. So I have another spot I've got to go back. I'll just open up the stitches, drop down, and pick that up really quick. It's pretty quick, although it's a little bit farther back than I would like. But okay, there's my Calliope. We're supposed to be done with these next Friday, I think, the 15th. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but I do love it. I'm very happy with it, and this still will be, I did start mine late. So if I'm a week late, I technically still got it done in a month, and that will, 2 months, and that will be the fastest I've ever knit a sweater. This pattern is very fast. Somebody mentioned that in the Ravelry thread, they were like, it knit up really fast, and it really, really did. I don't know why. Anyway, here we are, everybody. So here's the thing. In this episode, I have some wool mill videos. I have a follow-up from last video on spinning that single, which is now done, and I wanted to show you how it turned out. And there was something else I was going to talk about, books. So this is a quick one, and I have allergies. Last week I mentioned it, and yeah, these are what we call allergies, and they're just getting worse and worse the longer I live here, but that's okay. So bear with me, please. I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm going to go change, and then I'm going to come back and we will carry on. But one last glimpse. Isn't it gorgeous? I think I'm going to like my sleeves. Not super loose. I mean, they'll be a little bit, but what a stunning shot that was. Okay, see you all in a minute. All right, you all, we're back. I thought I would show you the view from the room I'm in. This is in one of our spare bedrooms upstairs in our house, and you can see, let me get back in view here, you can see Khaleesi out there, hopefully right there moving along, kind of hidden behind the trees, but the alpaca are out there, and out this way is our shop and barn. And anyway, the trees are in bloom, and Mitch and I both have pretty high allergies to all these beautiful blooming trees right side our driveway, but that's okay. All right, I'm gonna flip back here, and here we are. Okay, I have some quick notes here so that we can carry on. This is a pretty quick episode. Okay, I think that's good enough. Sorry, you all, I'm trying to adjust. Okay. So that was one of our works in progress. I'm working on my socks a little bit, but because we're kind of hitting on the deadline of the sweater, I've kind of honed in on finishing that up. And yeah. Okay, so that was my work in progress, really. I am doing a little spinning, which I may take you in there. I started spinning for some reason. The other night I stayed up really late, and at I didn't realize what time it was, but I had spun, or I think I had plied, and then I had knitted, and then I was like, I'm gonna try to spin a little cotton because I really want to do a cotton project next. And it's been a while. Okay, little did I know, it's been probably a month or two before I've spun probably 2 months before I've spun cotton, since I've spun cotton. And it was 1 a.m. And so it didn't go super smoothly. But anyway, I have a new spin on one of my Magic Crafts, and it's not the easiest cotton to spin, but we're doing it. Okay, I think I have 8 ounces of it, and we're gonna do it. So there's that work in progress. I have a table next to me, and I don't even have anything on it. Let me show you. I have videos actually. So we should maybe we'll cut to the videos. I know I just got back on. I changed my clothes, but let's cut to the videos of that yarn I was spinning in last episode, the single, which I don't do a lot of singles, and I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. So let me cut to those videos and you can see that, and then we'll pop back on and I'll show you how it looks after it's been soaked and everything. All right, you all, this is the moment. So here is my finished singles. And I thought, let's go ahead and some of it unwound a little bit already, but I thought I'll let you all come along for the journey to see. And I actually do have this on my tension cape, although my tension cape is not where it should be. We're gonna pop it up. And too much tension. And I put it on the lazy cape because I knew it was gonna coil back a little bit with only being a single, and I don't want to fight with the single. So I'm just gonna wind this onto my nitty knotty. And then I will show you when I take it off what we achieved. Most likely it's going to be pretty kinky, but I'll take you through as I finish this process. We'll see if I need to weight it in the end. I may need to. That's okay. It's a pretty color. It's hard for me not to ply it with a mohair single. I'm not going to lie. It would have been gorgeous, but it could be held with a mohair single also. Okay, I won't make y'all watch all of this. I'll catch you when I'm done. All right, you all, so here we are. I'm gonna pull this off. Let's see how much extra twist we have got. Actually, not that bad. I'm pretty happy with that. So there's your yarn. I don't think I'm gonna have to weight this. I got a little nervous that because as you, of course, if it's just a single, as you're doing stuff on the end, then it's gonna try to unravel on you. So I got a little nervous. I used a different color for some of the ties, which is against what I usually do. I usually try to always use the yarn for my ties, but not this time. Isn't it? You can actually see that color too. So excited. So into the wash we'll go. Okay, that was like the most miraculous thing when I took it off the nitty knotty and it was happy. Okay, so here it is. Look at this beauty, so well balanced. Here it is. I didn't weight it or anything, but it's basically just hanging very well balanced, which is super shocking to me. And here it is up close. Such a beautiful color. That's why I discovered this room. I was filming in here with this yarn. And anyway, I am so happy with it. And it's not like the soft, I'm thinking about holding it with a mohair and doing a hat with it. We'll see. I probably could wear it next to skin. It's East Frisian, but we'll see. Anyway, success. So I liked the options. Post spin, I really liked what I had done to my wheel, which if you want to know how I made adjustments to my wheel, go back and watch last week's, because I did some things that maybe made sense and maybe didn't, but I kind of slowed my wheel down and sped it up. Anyway, it gave me the opportunity to put the right amount of twist that I thought was going to work for this yarn. And it did. So hurrah, hurrah. Speaking of understanding your wheel, before I forget, in my Patreon community, I'm starting the spinning Q&As. I mean, I'll do any Q&As really, but spinning focused Q&As for people that are new to spinning. For those of you that have purchased my course and need some extra spinning help, if you haven't, I'll send a couple links to people in the course. In theory, it's a couple links are included in the course, and then hopefully you'll join in the Patreon community, but you'll get an email with those links if you're not in my Patreon. Anyway, starting next week, I think the 12th or so, I'm going to do the first one, and I'll just be there to answer questions for people that are new to spinning or are stuck or don't understand something. I'm not going to be teaching hand spinning on there, but I'll be answering questions. So if you want to learn to hand spin, go sign up for my online course, because you can start right now. You could cut out of this video and go. So anyway, go to my Patreon. There is a link in the show notes that will take you there. And for $5 a month, you all. Plus you get early access to product. Like something I just posted this week that is gone. It was gone just with my Patreon people. So it is a way to support me and all of the content that I create and do, and also just be in a community and get early access to fibers. So head over to Patreon. $5, $10, or $20 gets you in. Okay, there's the Patreon Q&A. Books, before I forget. So I finished, and I read at night, like when I get in bed. So it's not every night, and it tends to not be for long, but sometimes I'm surprised that I get through as many books as I do, considering it's going to be backwards. But I finished Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. Somehow, you all, I scored a first edition of this, and I don't even know how, but pretty excited. And I have not read Barbara Kingsolver in a long time. I read the Poisonwood Bible a long time ago, right? And I'm pretty sure I read Prodigal Summer. Holy cow. So, I mean, I know it's only March, but favorite book of the year. Holy cow was this. And it's a doozy. It's a good one, but it's so good. And it's just about this young boy growing up through the foster. I mean, it just tackles a lot of issues. Certainly tackles the fentanyl issue that is going on in our country, fostering. I'm just really, really good. A little bit heartbreaking. That's all I'm going to say. But worth the bit of heartbreak because it's so good. So Barbara Kingsolver, Demon Copperhead. It was on the Oprah Book Club. It won Pulitzer. There is no reason, there's no why to that. Oh my gosh, it's good. So I'm currently reading The Sun Walks Down. Hopefully you can see that. This is by Fiona McFarlane. And this actually, I last year got my mom a subscription to Ann Patchett, the author. She owns a bookstore in Nashville. I hope I'm saying the right author, but I'm pretty sure I am. She owns a bookstore in Nashville, and she has a subscription, like a first edition signed subscription club. So once a month, I think, and you can sign up for just quarterly. You don't have to sign up for like a year or anything like that. You get a first edition book. It's signed. And there's like a little note that comes with it that Anne writes up for the month, I believe. And this is my mom's book, so I'm trying to be very careful with it because she was kind enough to, somewhere in here, this sucker signed. There it is. See, so you get a signed first edition. It's pretty sweet. And this is the second book I've read from it, and they're really good. This one, it's taking me a smidge to get into, but my mom loves this one. So I would power through anyway, but because my mom loved it, I know that it's worth investing the extra time to get past. Sometimes you start a book, especially when you finish a book that you're like, wow. And then you start another one, and it's a little hard to get into it. But It is very good so far. So The Sun Walks Down, Fiona McFarlane. That's what I'm reading. What's happening at the mill? I'm working on Fiber Club. So I think next week I'll have a bunch of videos with Fiber Club, processing, skirting through. Yeah, skirting through the end there, I think. And I worked on some Halsey this week, which I'm really excited about. Halsey is one of my signature blends. Last week I talked about Prineville. This week, Halsey. It is Romney wool, alpaca, and silk. And I did this beautiful color. It is natural white Romney. I used a really dark fawn alpaca and then natural colored silk. This stuff spins amazing. And I have videos of the making of it, which I'll show in a minute. But first, I think I am going to just answer one quick question. Somebody commented on my last video asking about, I was talking about Prineville, which is the fiber I have for, specifically, I designed for spinning socks. And they said they're not a big fan of mohair. Would alpaca work? And I would say that alpaca would work. I don't know that it's going to be quite as strong, and it's probably more prone to pilling, I would say, maybe than if you used a longer staple length mohair, but I think it's better than using nylon, which I just wrote a new blog entry where, sorry, I have somebody that comes by that collects our owls' poo pellets, and he just texted. So I think alpaca would work. I suggest going to a longer staple length alpaca, which isn't always easy to find, and a higher micron count alpaca so that it's a little bit stronger. I did, as I think I was saying, I wrote a blog entry at beingyouthful.com where I kind of go more in depth on socks and spinning for socks. I wrote a newsletter about it too, but I actually went more in depth in the blog. So if you're interested, go to beingyouthful.com and I'll have a link in the show notes to that. Anyway, I think alpaca would work. Alpaca is a really warm fiber, so that's a nice thing to have on your feet also. Better than plastic, right? Better than plastic, which is what nylon is, which is in a lot of sock yarns. So, okay. Let's go ahead and hit some videos. If I get a spinning video of me doing the cotton, I'll pop it in here too, but I'll definitely walk you through processing this Halsey. It's so pretty, y'all. I meant to bring some home to show you, but I think you'll get the idea. And it spins so beautifully. And I have knit a lot of things, and I've seen a lot of things knit in this fiber once it's spun. So it's a nice versatile yarn that it makes. Okay, let's cut to, and I will be back in just a minute. Okay, you all, we are at my wheel and my drive band is off because we all know we should take our drive band off when we are not spinning. If we have these plasticky, I'm not sure what they are, but if we have those, because they will stretch, so it just keeps them longer. So my drive band is on my fastest whirl, so small, and I have the tension very, very, very low for spinning cotton because you don't want it at all to be yanking the fiber away from you. And you've got to get a lot of twist on there. So when you first do your join, you've kind of got to hold on to it for a minute. And this is not in any way, shape, or form going to be the most even yarn at all. But we're just doing it. You know what? Not all yarn has to be perfect. And spinning cotton is its own. You'll give me a sec while I kind of get into a rhythm here with it. And I found last night that if I put my palm up, you can see how usually I spin with my palm facing down, but oops, I've got a big, oh, whatever. But I have found that I remembered last night that if I put my palm up, it just makes it harder for me to naturally hold on to the fiber because it can just kind of sit in my palm versus if I'm holding it like this, I'm more apt to pinch. But if I'm holding it with my palm up, where the fiber is just resting in my palm, and you can kind of see on the uptake, there is a little bit of kickback, and that's because I just don't have my uptake very high. I'm trying not to really use my fingers at all, other than to hold the fiber. And I'm spinning long draw because with cotton, it's just what you got to do. So if you get some cotton, this is cotton top. I got this at Woolery. They do have some that is, it actually says in the description that it's for easy cotton spinning. I would recommend that. I do not believe this is that. Which I do have some of that, but I can't seem to find it, of course, in my stash. And you've got to have a fair amount of twist with cotton. So here's where we're at on that this project. It's not going to be terribly even. And you can see occasionally my backhand where I have the fiber resting, it wants to pinch so badly. Everything wants to control. And with cotton, you really have to kind of give up control a bit and trust the process. And you'll see if I get kind of a chunk that is too thick, then I'll use my front hand to sort of control and get a little more twist in there. But cotton takes a fair amount of twist, which is why I have it on that really fast whirl size, so that the twist is going in as fast as my wheel will let it. So if you don't know long draw yet, but you want to spin cotton, I do have an online long draw course that will help get you there. And I do a bit of a supported long draw. It'll get you there. All right, I just wanted to kind of show you the progress. I think it got a little bit darker in this room while I was doing this. The sun's coming and going today, but we have a few days of sun, and you can see with the cotton, I'm not sure how far back you can see with my spinning here. Pretty far back. All right, while I'm on a roll, let's get out of here and move on to other videos. See what happens when you sit at your wheel. I'm just gonna sit at my wheel for a minute, and then you film 30 minutes of you spinning cotton because you don't want to get up. All right, I'm gonna go take my dogs for a walk. All right, so here we are at the washer, and I am washing. Believe it or not, if you can see the crimp in there, this is alpaca. Some really, really, really stunning dark fawn alpaca is what this would be called. And it's going in the washer, and this will just take one wash cycle. The hardest part with alpaca is getting the dirt out. And I have my water running, so excuse me, I'm trying to heat it up for when I wash. Getting the dirt out is the hardest part. So I have tumbled this. I have a tumbler that I put the fiber in, and it literally tumbles all the dirt out because alpaca roll in dirt a lot. So once that's out, generally speaking, one wash will do just fine because that's the biggest thing you're trying to get out of alpaca. So if you are processing an alpaca fleece at home, getting that dirt out before you throw it in the washing machine is going to make washing a lot easier. And I mean, not all of it, but all the loose dirt, as much as you can shake out, that's what you want to do. So I'm going to start this up, and then I want you to see what it looks like once the washer fills up with water. Okay, so here we are, and you can see how poofed up that is out of the water. And so my goal now is to get that back down. See how it just wants to poof up? This is actually how merino behaves when I wash it also, the really, really super fine wools. But you want it under the water because otherwise it's not going to get washed very well. So I just give it kind of a swirl in there to get the fiber back under the water. And I'll go through and do that for each section. You can see how big that is, how poofed it is, and it just wants to float. So I'll just kind of, it's like a bubble. It's like break the bubble, get the fiber back in the water. And I can see it's not really that dirty. So, and this was very dirty. Like it was a sea of dirt surrounding me when I opened this fleece up and started going through it. So the tumbling just, I would otherwise not want to process alpaca, because if I had to just try to take it from the blanket into the washing machine, I would have to wear a mask. There's just that much dirt in most alpaca fleeces. So anyway, I just wanted to show you how differently alpaca behaves when you're washing it, and kind of the different thing that you're looking for with washing alpaca. So you don't really have to wash this as hot as you would wash wool, because you're not trying to melt the lanolin. You're just trying to get the dirt out of that fleece. All right, it is time to use some of that gorgeous alpaca. So let me show you what I've got going down here. We have got some silk and alpaca to the left, and to the right is white Romney. So you guessed it, we're making some Halsey blend. And I just got I don't know why, all of a sudden I was like, I haven't done this color alpaca with silk, with white Romney in a while. And I love it because it just puts out this very distinct color in the fiber. Once it almost turns like not quite a pink, but it just has this kind of rosy pink hue to it that is pretty beautiful. And for some reason I decided to go with the natural colored silk. This is Tussa silk that I use because it processes the best of the silks through my machines. So that's what I'm looking for. I don't want a lot of pilling or anything like that some of the more sensitive silks can. So anyway, and we're using white Romney because that's how we're rolling. That's where I'm feeling. I love that you can just blend all these different natural colors and get, I don't know why I'm coming over there. This is what I need to turn on. Here we go. So we've got the silk and the alpaca, and I layer it kind of like I generally do. I layer it underneath the wool because that way as it's going into these feeders, the wool tends to get less caught up in the rollers. So I'll just keep doing a little layering of everything. Doesn't have to be done this way. It's just how I do it. And this fiber spins up so beautifully, and I'm excited to have this color stocked in the shop because, well, it's been a while to have. I've got natural white in the shop, but I'm just going through and restocking as I get to those colors. So it's just as it is. So there'll be white, and then there'll be this beautiful kind of a dusty rose natural color in the online shop. And I used to spin this yarn up in the mill, and it's really lovely. I spun it as a 3-ply, I believe. It was kind of a light worsted weight. Really nice. Hand spinning it is pretty dreamy. And I know that this Romney came from Maria Rooney up in Portland, and it is from Leprechaun, was the sheep's name, and Maria was very excited for me to buy Leprechaun's fleece. So Leprechaun must have a special place in Maria's heart. So I'm going to just go ahead and keep putting this fiber on, and then I'll let you see at the end what it looks like. All right, so I've got the very last of it. Oopsie. Here goes the very last of it. This batch into the picker. And here we go. It's blowing out the other end and into my little shower unit where it's contained. Does not look pretty. So we'll let that finish out, and then I'm going to condition it. Okay, so here we are, ready to condition. Again, it's pretty good humidity in the building right now, but the alpaca and the silk would much prefer if I condition them than letting them try to wing it themselves. So I am going to set this up so the door doesn't shut on you. Sorry, you all. And then I'm just going to get this in and do some conditioning. I'll pull back a little bit so you can see. And it's nice and blended and layered for me. So I'm just gonna I kind of blend it up a little bit more as I'm pulling it out. Just pull it from the top and the bottom. Isn't that gorgeous? Every time I do this blend, I'm like, oh man, it is stunning. So I'll put a good amount in here. And then just so my hands don't get all gooey, I throw gloves on. That way I can just take them off and keep running around my day. The less I have to wash my hands, the better. So I'm just gonna add some conditioner and mix it all in. And then tomorrow, get this all carded up. Let you all see what it looks like coming off the carder, which is always exciting. I just love this blend, and it spins up like a dream. So if you haven't spun it before, I'll probably call it like Dusty Rose or something like that. Now that name is sticking in my head as a colorway, but all naturals, just a different way of blending them up. So I'll keep going. I'll finish this up, and then tomorrow we'll head to the carder after the conditioner's had time to soak into the fiber. Okay, everyone, we are at the carder with this Halsey. So I'm going to start the carder up and let it run for a minute while I do a little more feeding it onto the belt. Sorry, y'all, I'm fighting allergies this week. I'm a little extra congested. That is the way. Right now our trees are pollinating like crazy, which is my big thing, luckily. Luckily it's not grass pollen, although that does not help anything. So we're feeding it on, and I have to give it a minute to kind of start to build up on the machine before I can go and get it through the roving deck. I'm actually thinking about doing some of this in bats too. I don't know why, I just think it would look really pretty. But we'll see if my patience for setting up the roller for, okay, I think it caught that on camera, that the carder picked up a big chunk of the fiber that was, it wasn't supposed to pick all up at once, which always gives me a startle, but I know what it is. And you learn pretty early on, whatever you do, just let the carder do its thing and you don't try to fix it because you'll get injured. But basically what happens is sometimes the fiber is so floofy that it has this little shield here to help guide the fiber down. But if the fiber is just a little too poofy, it can go up above that, and then the rollers will just pick up a chunk. So that's why you'll see a lot of times when I'm putting fiber onto the belt that I am kind of splitting it into smaller chunks so that when that does happen, it'll do just what it did there. It won't take everything I've got on the in-feed table. It'll just take that little bit that I've been separating out as I am putting it onto the carder. And I've had it before where it's picked up so much that I had to stop the carder and try to dig some stuff out because it was just too much. But this is pretty light fiber. I'm running it pretty light, and so it didn't pick up anything crazy. And on the bright side, I am ready to go ahead and feed the roving in. So let's go over to the other side here. It always gives me a jolt though, like, ah! I'm like, oh wait, I'm safe, everything's fine. Everything's good. So I am going to go ahead, and it's been a while since I've done this for you all, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the roving deck set up. So I'm just feeding this little wire through my roving deck, and this is what will catch the roving for the fiber and pull it through into roving. If I want to make bats, which I've been debating, I would put the drum down below. And then I would go ahead and just let this fiber drop off into sheets. So I'm just attaching what is now more fiber than it was supposed to be onto the little hook that's on the end. I'm not sure if it's gonna stay well, but it should. And then I'll go ahead and put the belt on. Sorry, that was probably not very exciting to watch, but I'm gonna go ahead and put the belt on so that the roving deck is connected to the main part of the carter. And then when I start it up, we'll be all set. Hopefully it'll feed through, which is what we want. Sometimes it doesn't, but I'm very excited about how this is going to look. We'll see if it made it. Yay, it's making it. Oh, beautiful. And it's pretty hefty already because too much of it fed through there. It's just something I keep an eye on. As long as it doesn't pick up too much at once, we're fine. And then it'll probably run a little bit thin for a minute. Let you see that color. So it's just gonna be blended up, that alpaca. It'll be a little bit, you know, some parts are gonna be more white than others. Some parts are gonna be a little bit more of that fawny color. It's gonna spin up really beautifully. Okay, that's in the online shop. Okay. I think that's all I've got this week, right? Pretty short for me. So I think that's it. I'm going to leave it at that. I hope that you all are doing well. Until next week. Ask me lots of questions, comment, subscribe, all the things. I try desperately to respond to your comments. Pop over to my Patreon. If you like what I'm doing here, you'll have more fun in Patreon. And anyway, until next week, stay healthy. Stay away from those blooming trees. Be kind to everybody around you and make so many pretty things. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all soon.